want to take just a second and talk about another book that you have, The Road Ahead, Transition to Adult Life for Persons with Disabilities. You know, this is a topic that our community is talking about all the time, but there's a particular amount of attention because of a Dateline special just a couple of weeks ago. When we talk about the cliff, when our kids are
falling off the cliff,
yes,
as they call it in our community.
And wondering if you could talk a little bit about what's in this book and why people should know about it.
Well, I think you're exactly right. We do, instruction in schools, and students learn academic skills, social skills, and so on. And then when they make that transition from the school setting to adult life, it falls apart, and they become unsuccessful, unemployed, living at home, and so on, living in poverty, whatever the case might be. So that transition process is really the key to having a successful adult life, and we need to get appropriate instruction and supports available. So a lot of it is when the student turns 16, they should start having some work experience. You know, it can be a couple hours a week or so on in a variety of settings, so they get actual job experience. Because you can talk about it in school, classrooms, and so on, about what type of job you would like to have. But it's not till you actually get out there and start experiencing it, you really know for sure some of the basic things. For instance, you may like a job that's outdoors, or a job that's indoors, a job where you have a lot of social interactions, a job where you have few social interactions. So the students need to get that experience early on, and they also need kind of a wake-up call. So, you can mouth off to the teacher or not do your work at school and have some consequences, but when you're at a job site and you mouth off to the boss or you don't do your work, there's really severe consequences. So students need that reality therapy early on in the process, so they're getting supports around those issues. So for instance, if they're having problems interacting with the supervisor, the job coach or teacher can do some social skills instruction around those issues so they're successful.
Aren't aware, though. They wait, Dr. Story, and they wait until their child is graduating to even start this. You're saying they should actually be out doing these things around the age of 16. And we've heard that parents should start considering these plans even earlier, as young as a child being 14. Would you agree with that?
I agree completely with that. You can even start earlier than that in the school setting, doing job exploration types of things, having people come in and talk about jobs that they do and so on. And I think one really valuable thing is having adults with autism come in and talk to students with autism about their experience and what, was difficult for them and what was really helpful for them. But I agree completely with you. You can start early on in the process. So you don't want to wait till they're 18, or if they're in the 18 to 21 program, till they're 20 or 21 years old. It's too late at that point in time to have a good chance of success.
But is that incumbent upon the schools to work with the parents to do this?
Yes, schools should be providing information to parents, and parents should be taking the initiative to make sure that the IEP addresses a lot of those issues. For instance, we have Workability 1 programs here in California, so their child should be involved in Workability 1 programs when they're 16 to 18.
We've got a question that came in from a parent that they're thinking of getting into the field of autism, and I thought maybe you'd have an opinion. They wrote and said, I have a son with autism, and I've been immersed in this world for several years now. I've since decided to try to enter the career world and decided to attempt to carry all of my autism experience into my future job pursuits. What career choices are available that are specific to autism where I can get an education with the emphasis in autism?
You can get a special education teaching credential, so that parent could contact a local university and check out, what's available. They could also look at the adult service system if they want to work as a job coach or, a residential person. They could contact the regional center and see what agencies are providing services like that in the local area. So there's a lot of options out there in the K-12 system, early childhood system, the adult system.
said many times that if you're looking for job security working in the field of autism, unfortunately, there's a great deal of job security right now.
A great need for people who have skills in autism area, and having been a parent, then I'm sure that person has a lot of skills to bring to the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Dr. Story, you have been prolific in your writing. We should mention that you've got several books. We've already mentioned positive behavior supports for adults with disabilities in employment, community, and residential settings, practical strategies that work, the road ahead, transition to adult life for persons with disabilities. You've also written a book, Functional Assessment and Program Development for Problem Behavior, a practical handbook, and positive behavior supports in classrooms and schools, effective practical strategies for teachers and other service providers. We really want to encourage people to check out all of your books on Amazon. I think that the last one is a great one. We have Teacher Appreciation Week coming up in just a couple of weeks. What a great book to give your teacher for Teacher Appreciation Week, right?
Right. I agree completely.
All right. Well, Dr. Story, we thank you so much for being with us
Once
today.
again, Dr. Keith Story. So you can look up his books on Amazon. And if you are, as all of us should be, looking to the future, thinking about transitions to adult life, to jobs, to employment, and how to have your child function more effectively in the classroom, these are great resources for parents and professionals in the field.
Absolutely. Thank you.